Welcome everyone, Namaste. Thank you very much for joining this session today aimed at help our shoulders and upper back to create a little bit more space and open the areas that are a little tight. So the first thing that I'm going to do today is to lie down on my back. And I'm going to, for a moment, extend the legs and release your arms and take a deep breath in through your nose. And a big sigh out through your mouth. Just giving yourself a chance to drop your bones. Imagine they are little rocks, but the long bones of your legs, they are bigger rocks. So they really sink down onto your mat. And you give yourself just a moment to feel more connected. There's this type of breathing that we do in yoga sometimes that it's called earth breathing. And the idea is to just feel all of the parts of your body, drawing the energy from the earth when you inhale up into your body. And then with the exhale, letting all that energy move down and expand as deep and as wide as you can. So maybe just a couple of breaths doing that. It's very centering and it helps balancing our mind and body as well. So just a few of those. Nothing forced or pushed. And then after you take a couple of those, take your time, no rush. I'll start adding things, okay? So then I'm going to bend my knees, put my feet on the mat. They don't have to be very close to one another. I usually do a little wider than the hips to give my pelvis space to also expand and the organs within the pelvis. And then I'm going to send my arms into a shape that we usually call the goalpost or the cactus. And I'm going to keep them like that. So for a moment, just press the elbows down into the floor or your carpet and feel the upper back igniting a little bit more, right? Or starting to awaken a little more. So take one inhalation here and exhale and soften that pressure of the elbows down. And now I'm going to add to this the shape that we usually call cat-cow. And I'm going to do it without lifting my head off the floor. So what I'm going to do is that when I'm inhaling and I'm arching the spine, I'm also going to bring my chin towards my sternum or chest. And with the exhale, I'm rounding belly button in, and I'm also bringing the chin up towards the skies, okay? It feels a little bit counteractive because the neck, the cervical spine is doing the opposite as the spinal cord, but it's actually a little trick to help us make more space along the whole axis in our bodies, okay? So again, inhaling, I'm arching, pressing my tailbone into the mat, bringing the chin down to my chest. And exhaling, slowly rounding, you will feel the tailbone moving into your body, lifting, and the chin goes up. And again, inhale. And exhale. And one more, inhale. Going slow, you can pick up sensations in your body and exhale. Good. Once you come back towards the neutral, I'm still keeping my feet on the mat. And from here, I'm going to inhale and send my arms up towards the skies until my palms touch. So like I said before, we are working shoulders, upper back. So we are going to do a little bit of movement here to help the upper back open up. I'm going to slide my right arm and hand up a little further than my left, and then return with the exhale. And then I'm going to change, left hand sliding up, like if I wanted to touch the ceiling with my fingertips, and then back down, letting the shoulders drop. And again, inhaling, exhale. And we are switching sides with each breathing cycle and returning. As you can see, my head is always heavy on the floor. And I'm trying to keep my pelvis as neutral as I can. And by that, I mean that instead of like twisting, right, my whole body with the movement of the shoulders, I'm trying to keep it steady, because that will help me isolate the movement into my upper back more, okay? So let's do one more each side. Good. And after you're done with that movement, I'm going to cross right arm over the left one, and I'm going to hold my shoulders with my hands, sending my elbows up, okay? We're going to do 3 times for going towards the same side. Both elbows go to the left and the chin goes over to the right. So I'm kind of pulling my right shoulder over towards the left side and then back to center. And again, same side, inhaling, exhale. One more. When you're done, re-extend the arms. And then we send the left arm over the right one. And again, we catch the shoulders or the back of the shoulders with the hands. And I'm lifting my elbows a little bit towards my nose. I'm going to change the direction for 3, right? So now I'm going to send both elbows to the right, chin to the left, back to center. And again, and one more. And then I'm re-extending both arms up towards the skies and slowly releasing the arms to the sides again. Take a big breath in here and a deep breath out. Good. And then I'm going to roll over to my side so I can come up. And I'm going to actually switch, and I'm going to be on my belly for this one. So as I come onto my belly, you're going to do this at your ability, okay? So it's not important if you're not going super far. In this one, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take my left arm and I'm going to send it under my right arm all the way to the right as far as I can go. Now, when I walk that left arm over to the right, I'm going to try, wherever it is that I can reach, I'm going to try and straighten or extend my elbow, okay? Once I have that, I'm going to try and see if I can send my right arm over to the left. So it's a little bit of a pretzel in front of my chest, right? So I have one arm going to, my left arm going to the right arm going to the left. And then if you can, you're going to let the chin drop over your right arm. For some of us, that may be a little uncomfortable and you may feel like you're like being decapitated. So we don't want that. So maybe you want to turn the cheek on top of your arm, and that may feel a little better, okay? We are not staying long, but what I want you to do here is to breathe into the space in between your shoulder blades. So we are really helping the upper back open here. So breathing deeply into that space, upper back. And then exhale. And 2 more breaths. Last one. And then slowly I'm lifting my head, walking my arms back. And instead of going right away into my second side, I'm going to do a little transition here, putting both my forearms in front of me. My elbows are right under my shoulders. And I'm going to push down with my forearms and with my hands, but I'm also going to drag with my fingertips and my palms towards me, like if I want to bring the floor or the mat towards me and lift the chest. So if you think about it, this movement, it's a little bit the opposite of what we just did. So we are counter posing, right? So we can open the chest instead. So imagine the chest coming in between your armpits and lifting the sternum up. Take one deep breath in. Long exhale. Don't throw your head backwards. Just let it follow the line of your spine. Good. And then we come down and we are going to now reverse it. So now I'm going to send my right arm first. I'm doing like a little bridge with my left arm and sending the right arm as far as I can go to the left. Remember, it's not important how far you go. You just stretch there. And if you can, you keep your elbows straight, okay? Or as straight as possible. And then after that, I'm going to try and walk my left arm over to the right. And again, I'm creating this pretzel-like shape with my arms. They are right in front of my chest. And if you can, you release the chin, the head down, okay? 3 breaths again here, trying to expand and broaden the upper back. Last one. And then we slowly, again, release that. And we counter the pose one last time, doing that shape that we call Sphinx. And we press down, we drag the fingers or the fingertips towards our bodies as we lift the chest, send the upper arm bones back and expand the top of your chest by widening the collarbones. Good, then I'm going to release that. And now I'm coming into hands and knees position. So what we call a tabletop, trying to keep the hips above your knees and the shoulders above your wrists, okay? Good. Now from here, I'm going to do another one that is for shoulders and upper back. So what I'm going to do is to send my right hand a little further forward. I'm going to say half a hand forward or just like 1 inch. And then left arm is going to come inside that right arm over to the right. I'm going to let my left shoulder drop. Before I let my left shoulder drop, what I'm trying to do is to send that left arm as far as it will go for me, okay? And then I'm putting the shoulder, the head down if that is possible, and I'm going to walk my right hand a little further towards the top of my mat. I hope you can see how I'm like walking my fingers. So in this one, my hips are high, right? You can see that they stayed above my knees. And as I'm walking my right hand towards the top of the mat, when I'm there, if this is super intense, I'm just going to stay here and I'm going to breathe a few times. If you want to take it a little deeper, you can walk the hand that you were walking before, the right one, towards the top of the mat. But instead of keeping it at the top of the mat, you're going to try and walk it a little bit more towards the 12 p.m., let's say, or the 12 o'clock. Okay, so it goes a little bit more towards your left, but that will be a little more intense. I can feel it. Okay, so 1 breath here. And then you bring that right hand back to be next to your face so you can push and come back to that tabletop. Okay, stay there. Good, super. Now I'm going to take a cat-cow before I switch sides. And we inhale, arching the spine. We exhale and we round. Good, I'm returning to my neutral, and now I'm going to switch sides. So I'm going to send my left hand a tiny bit forward, so it's not right under my shoulder, but a little bit further. And then with my right arm, I'm going to go all the way over to the other side. You won't be able to see me on that other side, but you know what's coming, right? So I'm walking that right arm. I don't have a lot of space, but I'm walking my arm as far as I can go to my left, and then I'm dropping the shoulder. And then from there, first I'm going to test if this feels already like it's enough for me today. If that's enough, you stay here, breathing, or you can walk that left arm a little further to the top of your mat. And you know now already that if you want instead, you can walk it a little bit more towards the 12 o'clock, okay? Remember Going further doesn't mean that it's better, okay? What's better for you is to come to the place where you feel like it's giving you an effect in the body that it's beneficial and nothing should be painful, okay? Then I'm walking that left hand back towards my face so I can push and come back into my tabletop. And again, from here, I'm going to do one cat-cow, inhaling, exhale. Good, I'm coming back to the neutral. And before I go to standing doing some other stuff, I'm going to move my knees a few inches back, widen my feet, curl the toes under. I'm going to turn or I'm going to say dial my fingertips out a little bit, pressing through the palms and also gripping the mat with the fingertips to push the mat away and stretch the spine up, sending my hips up towards the skies. I want you to imagine someone lassoing, let's say, your pelvis and pulling from the sides of your pelvis with a lasso or a strap up towards the skies. So the spine is really elongated and you let the head and the neck drop. And then just create a little bit of an external rotation with your upper arms and pedal your feet a few times, like if you're walking, stretching one leg a little more, and then the other. And again, one side and the other side. Good. From here, you can choose if you want to stay where you are in down dog for a couple more breaths or come with me with a little bit more activity for the body, a little more fire. I put my feet a little closer to one another so they are hip distance apart. I'm dragging my navel in and my ribs in. And then I'm coming into what we call a plank pose, the top of a push-up. I'm pushing through the heels. I'm pushing my hands into the mat to lengthen those arms and elbows, and I'm dragging my ribs in. And then I'm pushing back into downward facing dog. Good. Then I'm going to walk my feet towards my hands. I'm going to keep my feet wider than my hips. So they are not hip distance. They are almost going towards the edges of my mat. I'm going to bend my knees here and I'm going to drop the trunk. If you want, you can wiggle a little bit side to side. A little bit of movement there for the torso. And then from here, keeping the neck long and the head super heavy, see if you can take your arms behind you, lace your fingers, roll the shoulders back and away from your earlobes, and then extend those arms behind you. Maybe they won't go far. Maybe they stay close to your body. That's all good. And you can bend your knees as much as you need. But the idea is to imagine your shoulder blades sliding down your back towards your tail, okay? So they are really moving up and away from the neck. And if you have the ability to push through the heels and send your inner legs back, then you create a little bit more opening in the backs of the legs. If that feels like it's too intense, we don't want to upset the hamstrings or any muscles there in the legs, okay? So keep the knees bent at discretion. Another breath. Then we release the arms. Good, press firmly through your feet and then roll slowly up, one vertebra at a time. The head will be the last, so I'm pushing through my heels to give myself energy and steadiness to come up to standing. Good. Okay, we shake it a little, just checking that everything is okay. Cool. Okay, super. So now from here, I'm going to keep my feet hip distance apart. We are going to inhale and send the arms up overhead. And I'm going to lace my fingers and let my index point forward. Okay, sorry, point up, upward. So I'm staying there. I'm extending through the arms. I'm firming my glutes. That means that instead of letting them go out, I'm exaggerating. I'm not saying that you're doing that, right? But instead of letting them go back, I want to really like firm those muscles into my body. You see how it changes my posture? posture. Instead of being here, it's more steady and in line with my spine and my pelvis. So I want to keep that. And as I push through my heels and activate my glutes, I'm lengthening the sides, and then I'm going to tilt over to the right. I'm going to mirror you guys, so we go together. I'm tilting over to the right, and I'm letting my left hip go a little bit over to the left. Now my chest stays facing forward, and I'm stretching the arms. This is very good for upper back and shoulders. Take a deep breath in. It's also very good for the chest. And exhale. Then we inhale, we come back up. Good, press again through the heels, activate those glutes, extend through the arms, and we go over to the second side. Chest is facing forward. Back up to center. And exhale and release. Good, shake it a little. Good. And now I'm going to show you another one that it's really good for shoulders, upper back. But this one may be a little bit challenging for some of us because it's not something that we do regularly, okay? So if you have by chance a strap with you, you may want to use it instead, or I'm going to give you some other modifications. I'm going to show you my back, and what we are going to do here is to send the palms behind, and you're going to try and see if you can do a prayer position with your palms behind your back, okay, or behind your body, your trunk. I think we did this in the past, but this is a very good way to open the top of the chest and also work the shoulders, okay? So this may look like this for many of you, okay? So it's just like fingertips touching. Maybe you can touch the palms, maybe they don't go anywhere close at all. So if that is happening, you can just hold your elbows or you can hold your wrists, and that will do the trick that I want to do as well, okay? So those are good, or if not a belt, you can hold the belt and elongate your arms from there. For the ones who can play a little bit with the hands like this, what I'm going to say is to try and push the palms into one another. For some of us, maybe the hands are able to go a little higher. It's not important if they don't go, it's all good. But for all of us, whichever is the place where you're landing, I want you to, once you get there, send the shoulders back and the elbows back. So what I'm doing is that I'm using my hands to actually push into my heart and open and expand and broaden the lungs, okay? So I'm doing that, but at the same time, I'm doing a lot of rotation for the shoulders and the upper arms that are going back. Take a deep breath in here. And exhale. One more, inhaling. If you're holding wrists or elbows, it's all cool. Just send the shoulders and the elbows back, okay? And then we release it and we shake it a little bit from here. Beautiful. Okay, I still have a few minutes. So from here now at the top of the mat, I'm going to inhale, send my arms up, lace the fingers and press my palms up towards the skies. Remember to engage the glutes so we are not pushing the sitting bones backwards, but bringing them towards the front of the pelvis. Extend the air. Then we exhale and we fold into what we call a standing forward fold. Then we inhale, lifting halfway. I'm touching my shins or knees. I'm opening my shoulders back and lengthening the sternum forward. Then I'm exhaling, touching down. And from here, I'm going to walk back into another down dog, pushing the hips up, external rotation in my upper arm bones so I can give more expansion in the chest. Good, and then I'm going to bring my knees down and I'm going to come up onto my knees, okay? Good, I'm going to send my right foot forward. This is what we call a low lunge, and I'm going to firm my hips into one another and lift my hip points up towards the chest, okay? And then I'm going to take my right hand onto my right hip, send the left arm up, extend that left arm, and then bring the torso over to the right. Take one inhalation here, trying to keep the chest facing forward. Then I'm inhaling, coming back, and I'm going to take that left hand all the way down to the floor. If you need a block under that hand, you can put it, or you can make a fist as well, okay? Now from there, what I'm going to do is to try and keep my pelvis and my hips facing down, but I'm going to take my chest and belly up to the skies, okay? And with this one, we are trying to open the chest and we are activating the shoulders, which are moving back towards the back of my chest, okay? One breath here. Good. For the ones who want to go a little further with me, last portion, I'm going to tuck my toes in the back. And then from there, I'm going to lift the back knee and lengthen again the chest up towards the skies. So the left hand, is really pushing the floor away so I can lift a little higher towards the skies, okay? Good. Then I'm bringing my right hand down and I'm going back to down dog. Take a deep breath in here, pushing those hips and hip creases up towards the skies. And exhale. Good. And now I'm bringing my knees down one more time. And I'm going to send the left foot forward. Second side and last one. Okay. Good. Now I'm lifting again my hip points, engaging my glutes. I'm going to put my left hand onto my left hip. Right arm goes up. Extend through the right arm first. Keep the left elbow going back, and then I'm tilting over to the left. Keep the chest facing forward. Then I'm inhaling, I'm coming back. And now I'm keeping my pelvis facing towards the mat. I'm going to bring my right hand down to the floor. Okay. Once I do that, I'm going to keep that pelvis facing down, lengthening the torso. I'm going to send the chest and the belly over to the left. And I'm going to send that left arm up. Both my shoulders are trying to move back so I can open the chest and activate the upper back and the shoulders. And then for the ones who want to go a little further with me, I'm tucking the back toes. This doesn't mean that it's better, okay? If this is the place to stay, stay there. Tuck your toes, push with your right hand the floor away. You lift that back leg and you push through the right heel. And again, we have an opportunity to twist the chest and the belly up to the skies. Take a breath here. And then we bring that left hand down and we go for one last time into downward facing dog. Good, then bring your knees down again, sit back. You can sit onto your heels or you can sit on a block or anything else. We have just a couple of minutes, so I'm going to do a little more here for the shoulders. Sitting, just let your palms turn so they are facing up on top of your thighs and bring the elbows into your trunk a little bit. So I'm moving my elbows back. That will open the chest. And just close your eyes for a moment. Let your sitting bones sink, even if you are on top of a cushion or something else, and elongate the spine from the very center at the bottom of your pelvic floor up towards the crown of your head. And again, that earth breath helps us balance and settle and feel more steady. So you inhale and you bring the energy from the earth all the way up to the crown of your head. And when you exhale, it's like sending all of that energy from the top down to the bottom and expanding into earth. Good. Then we inhale, we send the arms up overhead. And we exhale, we release. I'm going to do one last one different. I'm going to inhale, send the arms up overhead through the front. And with the exhale, I'm opening back behind me and down. One more like that. Inhaling, arms up. Turn the palms, send the arms as far back and down as you can. And now I'm reversing it. I'm bringing both my arms back and up. And then over through the front. One last one, inhaling Exhale. Good. From here, we bring the palms together into the heart center. Push with your sternum into your thumbs. Send the shoulders back. Let the shoulder blades slide down your back all the way to the tailbone. Lift a little bit more through the spine and let the chin come down just a little. Take a deep inhalation here. Exhale. And in gratitude for this practice and to all of you guys for joining this 30-minute shoulders and upper back day, we bow in. Namaste.